We're just about ready for some volleyball on a Tuesday night. More to come here in a minute from the Pink Out for 2012 on 97.9 XFM.
The end of summer sale is going on now at Prime Soul. Stop by and see our selection of sandals that have been marked down in brands like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, and DC. The bright colored summer apparel prices have also been reduced. Don't forget about recent markdowns on men's, women's, and children's shoes as well. Head on out to Prime Soul for the end of summer sale, located on the corner of Keller Drive and Mid-America Avenue in Effingham. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8, and Sundays, noon to 5.
Ready for action here at Effingham High School. In case people don't know, give me an example. Now, everybody's gone to the rec, or everybody's played in their backyard and they played volleyball. You said it's way different. Give me a couple of tangible examples about how it's different in high school volleyball.
Well, things have changed a lot, as I mentioned, over the years, and one of the things that you'll notice immediately is the addition of the libero. It's a defensive specialist who plays in the back row only, and they sub in and out basically freely for anybody in the back row. Now, they can only serve one time. Obviously, if you had a great server, you'd just run her in to be the libero all the time.
Yeah.
But they don't do that, but they make sure they keep track of where she serves in the order. But other than that, she can sub in basically freely to be a passer mainly out of the back row. So that's one thing that you'll notice immediately. And if you're really astute and paying attention to the game, you might see the way they serve receive from the other team, how you've got people pushing each other to the net, so to speak. You got one girl standing right behind another girl. Well, typically that girl right behind the girl at the net is in the back row, even though she's only a foot off of the net. So it's just because of the where you rotate and where you line up, you have to be behind the player in front of you, and you have to be either on one side or other, depending on your service rotation of the girls. And it doesn't matter how far up and back you are if you're along the sides, and it doesn't matter how close or far away from the net you are, depending on if you're just right behind the girl in front of that's supposed to be in the front row or the back row, depending on your situation. So there's a lot of things going on out there, and a lot of times, especially early in the season, you'll see a lot of lineup checks. That's where the girls will ask the officials to make sure they're in the right spots on the court, and then they'll also do things such as service rotations to make sure that they're in the right order.
Okay, thanks, man. Let's get a shout-out to all the varsity kids. First of all, the St. Anthony kids include Megan Woltman, Cassie Dammerman, Maggie Mumm, Lauren Schmidt, Haley Mathis, Lauren Wendt, Rachel Beals, Emily Wortman, Logan Broniker, Megan Nuxall, and Rachel Schultz. The Effingham varsity squad is made up of Sarah Deibel, Deidre Myers, Erica Feldick, Kelly Utz, Shannon Doherty, Courtney Utz, Callie Custer, Holly White, Stephanie Robb, Josie Zaruzan, Bethany Donaldson, Felicia Totten, and Brittany Beals. So those are the kids on the varsity rosters for each of these schools, and we like to give them a shout-out. A lot of pink, a lot of St. Anthony pink on the far side, a lot of Effingham pink on the near side, and looks like some people are here to have a good time. Well, especially the chamber, the Effingham student section, well represented here tonight. And Timmy Gardewine and Hunter Keith with the attractive pink hankies on their heads.
The do-rags.
The do-rag, pink do-rags.
And they are leading the charge up in the front row of that chamber, and it's always great to see the student sections from all the schools get out and participate.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this student section is a little unique because there's some St. Anthony shirts over in the Hearts Chamber section as well. And that's great to see that the city schools, I mean, they compete hard against each other, but they also can get along and have some fun together, and that's what you like to see.
You betcha. So we're about ready for action, I think. The official said, let's rock and roll. They come to the net and give each other handshakes, and now we're ready to roll. And 7 kids on a side. Not like 9 when I used to play. Of course, they felt sorry for me. That's why we had 9. Didn't have to move so much.
Well, that would have been great if I was playing, to have as many out there as possible. And with 7 kids,
people.
Yeah, you have 6 that are actually on the court, and the 7th starter is now the defensive specialist or the libero that wait off the side, and then they get brought in. Like right now, Stephanie Robb is exiting because Miss Winnie is coming in for it.
True enough. So we've got the light pink and the dark pink. St. Anthony, the dark pink. Effingham, the light pink, if you're looking at this on the video later. Wayne, I can't just say the pink and the pink. That's not going to be too helpful, is it? All right. We're ready. St. Anthony's going to serve, and let's get the game underway. Get into the Effingham side. Kelly Utz has it and sets it up. Ball hammered across by Doherty. Returned by St. Anthony, and then Effingham sends it right back. Dammerman's the libero for St. Anthony, and she gets it over. Effingham returns it. St. Anthony a dig there, and they get it up to the front row. There they send it across. Effingham playing catch back there, and finally it's hammered at the net. Beals went up for it for Effingham, but St. Anthony had a combo there. I think Lauren Schmidt in on that, and Lauren went. The Laurens teamed up to keep it on Effingham's side, and St. Anthony gets a point.
Yeah, it was a beautiful stuff block to start the game after some good defense.
Good serve from the back. Effingham sets it up, and they get it across. It's loosey-goosey in the back for St. Anthony, but they do return it on the third hit. They set it up. St. Anthony, or Effingham does. Totten got it set up, and Effingham gets it across. Work up front. Back over to Effingham's side. St. Anthony with some problems. Nice kid. Went to the floor for the save. There's another save now on the Effingham side. They get it across. St. Anthony sets it up, and it's returned by Effingham, and somebody was in the net, and it's St. Anthony, and Effingham gets a point.
St. Anthony and Effingham beginning of this ball game, and actually they're going to rule that was Effingham in the net.
Oh, I thought I'd point to St. Anthony.
Yep.
Pardon me.
Yep.
So 2-0 Bulldogs. There's the setup by Effingham after the serve. Doherty gets it across, and it's through everybody, and Effingham gets the point. So that makes it 2-1, and the Hearts will get to serve for the first time tonight.
Looked like Myers got the kill on that one.
Felicia Totten gets it back to the back, and Effingham's ready to serve it up, and ball served across there by Deidre Myers, and the ball's down, and point for Effingham.
Yeah, it just shanked off of the third receive, and so that's an easy point there for the Hearts.
So Myers will give it a go again here. 2-2, now the game's tied. St. Anthony got the first two. Effingham has the next 2 points. Myers serves deep. St. Anthony tries to set it up, and there the ball's sent across, and it's a good point. Nice work back there for St. Anthony as it was hammered across. And the point goes to
Logan Broniker, I think, is wearing number 11, not number 21.
We checked with Coach Bailey and must have missed that one. All right. They've got different unis than they will the rest of the season is the problem. Okay, so Logan Broniker gets a point. St. Anthony's back and running here 3-2. St. Anthony serves. Effingham sets it up. Totten sets it up, and the ball hammered across by Doherty. And good.
Yeah, a net violation against one of the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs don't realize it yet.
They're trying to serve. I don't blame them. Getting aggressive. St. Anthony wondering about the call, and now they're saying, yeah, get the ball over to Effingham because that's how it went. And so Effingham, St. Anthony will make an exchange here. They're going to bring Schultz in. There's the exchange. And Rachel Schultz checks in for St. Anthony. 3-3's the score. Just started with the varsity game. There's one hit deep into the backcourt by Effingham. St. Anthony gets it across. A diving try and a nice save there for Effingham by Felicia Totten, and now Effingham gets the ball across. St. Anthony sets it up. It is hammered, and a nice shot in there for St. Anthony as Lauren Went puts it away.
Lauren's been an aggressive player in the beginning of this ball game, attacking from the front row. That time she got one of her swings down for the first kill of the second kill of the match for the Bulldogs.
And St. Anthony back in front 4-3. Boy, it's been a good close one so far. St. Anthony serves. Effingham sets it up, and there's the ball hit across and good as Effingham puts it home. And
Stephanie Robb, I believe.
That's right. You've seen Stephanie on the basketball court playing up front here for Effingham and got the kill, and we're tied at 4. Effingham back to serve. And a safe serve into the middle by Effingham. Doherty got it across. She now helps return it after St. Anthony sent it back over. And St. Anthony teamed up, and 2 kids touched it at the same time, and point for Effingham.
Maggie Mumm didn't realize the ball was passed onto her side of the court. She was going up to play defense. Broniker was trying to help her, but between the two of them, they couldn't get it back across.
So 5-4 Effingham. Boy, it's been a good close one so far. I don't think anybody's been more than 2 points ahead. St. Anthony returns, and now Effingham tries to return, and they cannot. Doherty got a hand on it, but could not return it. Point for St. Anthony, and there's yet another tie. We're tied at 5.
A nice right side attack as Broniker gets another kill. That's her second in the ball game already.
Again, thanks again to our friends at Prime Soul in Effingham for making the broadcast possible tonight. We appreciate that. Deep serve by St. Anthony, but Effingham went back to get it, and now they do return it across the net. St. Anthony, there's their third hit. Play at the net. Nice block there. St. Anthony recovers, though, and gets it to the net, but cannot get it over the net. Mumm tried to go up with it, was not able to get it over the net, and point to Effingham.
Effingham's doing a nice job of keeping the ball in play. That's what Coach Bonoff talked about before the match, and it's really paying them off in dividends here because St. Anthony has made 4 errors, giving them 4 of their 6 points.
Sarah Dybel sits down now for Effingham. Brittany Beals back in, and Kelly Utz back to serve here for Effingham. Effingham in front of St. Anthony 6-5 in our first game of this set. I get confused. Game, set, match. They change it almost every year on me, but it looks like the game to me, so that's what I'm going with.
It's volleyball. I know that much.
6-5 Effingham, and Utz to serve here for the Hearts. And she hammers it, and it was it good or not?
Yeah.
It is good. Right on the back line. Point for the Hearts. Wow. An ace for Kelly Utz. She put it right where nobody could return it, Matt.
Yeah, it was a beautiful spot right on the back line.
Here's another serve. This one about the middle. Dammerman sets it up for St. Anthony. There's a slam across. Wow, what a slug. What a hit by Haley Mathis for St. Anthony. And she said, return this.
Folks, Haley Mathis is listed as a setter, and she is in the front row for the Bulldogs. But, man, I was going to say at some point in time, having a setter with that athletic ability is going to pay dividends. I didn't get the chance. She just drilled it.
There's a hole in the floor, I think, where that volleyball ended up. St. Anthony serves, and point for the Bulldogs as the ball goes out of bounds. And Bulldogs have come back to tie it again at 7. That's, I think, at least our 5th tie.
Oh, yeah.
7-7. St. Anthony serving. They get it in here. Doherty at the net, trouble with it. Saved it, though. They try to help. A couple of kids got a hand on it. Nobody can get it across for Effingham, and St. Anthony point.
It was a nice block at the net initially by Mathis. Coach Bonoff wanted an illegal defensive attack because that was her setter trying to punch it across.
And St. Anthony pulls back in front here, 8-7. St. Anthony gets it across. Effingham returns it. Nice work back there by Stephanie Robb. She gets the point as it falls in the St. Anthony side of the floor, and Hearts have tied it at 8.
Doherty with a nice little back set. It threw the defense of St. Anthony off just enough to get Robb sprung free to make a good swing.
You have to win by 2. It may come down to it. Deep return for St. Anthony. Dammerman goes way deep to save it for Effingham. For St. Anthony. Now the Hearts have it. They get it across. Bulldogs looking to set it up now, and there's a nice hit through 2 or 3 Hearts players. Good work there for St. Anthony as Lauren Schmidt gets the point for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, she just was able to get that swing strong enough between the defenders, and even so, Effingham had a chance to dig it up. They just couldn't control it.
So it's 9-8 St. Anthony, and this is our first one of the varsity match here. Served by the Bulldogs. Hearts set it up. There's one across. St. Anthony returns it at the net. There's a little by-play, and it falls on the Effingham side, but St. Anthony got in the net. Point for Effingham.
Yeah,
and I'll let you decide who gets it.
It was just one of those plays where they scrambled trying to catch up to the ball, and they just couldn't keep it in bounds and landed out on the Heart side.
9-9, another tie, and there's one not returned. Good job by Effingham as Bethany Donaldson back there serving for the Hearts, and she gets the point as St. Anthony unable to return.
Yeah, just shanked off of the passer and went out of bounds too far for anybody to track down.
10-9 Effingham back in front, and what's been a dandy. Bethany Donaldson serves again. St. Anthony's return goes south. They fouled it off. And ball goes out of bounds, and Effingham with a 2-point lead here, 11-9.
Well, Donaldson is using a jump serve, but she's actually serving a floater, and it's causing St. Anthony a little bit of trouble.
Another attempt here by Donaldson. Good deep serve, but a little too deep, in fact. Point to St. Anthony, and that gets the Bulldogs back within 11-10, and they'll serve.
That is the first service error of the night for either team, and in the opening contest, that is very impressive for both of these programs.
Makes coaches happy when something like that occurs. Boy, both teams want to do so well since they're playing each other's opponents in the city. Bulldogs get the serve up. Effingham sets it up. Doherty gets it across for the Hearts. Trouble by the Bulldogs, but they do save it and get it across. Effingham looking to set it up. Myers goes up strong. Utz gets it. Somebody better get it across, and there's the third hit, and they do return it. And a tap over the top as who went up high there for Effingham. Congratulations, our dude Deidre Myers, as she went up and just tapped it on top. And Effingham gets a point, and the Hearts are back up 12-10. And Myers gets to serve now. St. Anthony looking to return it, and they do successfully. Myers to Totten, and now Utz gets it across. St. Anthony working in backcourt. They get it across. Hearts return it. Utz just into the front, and St. Anthony, a nice effort to get that ball back across. And good work by Lauren Schmidt again, and point to the Bulldogs. Nope, point to Effingham. The ball went out, didn't it?
Yep, it just landed out of bounds. It was great hustle by the Bulldogs, but Effingham's trying to do a little tip and a little dinking against the defense because St. Anthony's defense has been so solid.
So 13-10, that's the first three-point lead, and now St. Anthony is blocked at the net and can't return it. All of a sudden, it's a 4-point Effingham lead, and St. Anthony wants time. 14-10 Effingham, our first game of this varsity match. It's the pink out for 2012 here at EHS on 97.9 XFM.
I thought the gym got hot during basketball games.
Yeah, we're not here a lot in August, and holy moly, it's hot up here.
Yeah, these girls play in conditions where it definitely gets hot. You test your physical stamina, especially if you have to go to a third game. And so these young ladies are challenged in a lot of ways out there on the volleyball court.
We're up here in the skybox at EHS, and it's a great venue, great view, but it gets a little warm up here up top.
Just a little.
14-10 Effingham in front of St. Anthony, so Christy Bailey called time. She didn't want things to get out of hand here. Effingham back to serve again, and it's served right to the middle of the floor. St. Anthony whiffed on it at the net, but they managed somehow to save it. And now they set it up and get it across, and Effingham can't return it.
Boy, that was a great tip set by Mathis, and I'm telling you what, she is a tremendous volleyball player. I've seen enough to know that this young lady is extremely talented and just a junior. She got it to Went, who got the kill.
Yep, Lauren Went with the point. Now St. Anthony to serve, and they get it to the middle. Up front, Totten sets it up, and now Beal slams it across. St. Anthony looking to get it set up, and they go to the middle. It's set up, and now finally across on the hit by Utz, and it is no good. Point to St. Anthony. And the Bulldogs are back within two. It's 14-12.
So after the timeout, St. Anthony was able to get the kill. Now they got them to Effingham to hit into a hitting error.
So as we would say, a good timeout. Except but a bad serve here, or did somebody touch it?
It was an ace. They ruled it that it hit the line.
Oh, I thought that was wide.
I wasn't sure.
Wow, Kelly Utz stood back from it from Effingham, but they say it got the line. Point for St. Anthony. It's 14-13, so now they serve for the tie here. Utz goes to the floor to save this one and can't, and all of a sudden, we're back to tie. 14 all.
Well, Lauren Schmidt put them in the same place on both the plays, and she got a couple of aces out of it.
So 4 straight points for the Bulldogs after the timeout. And we're back to 14, about the 8th tie we've had in this one. And now that serve is wide, point to the Hearts, and Effingham will get it to serve, leading 15-14.
Well, I'm not trying to be critical here at all, but if St. Anthony would cut down on their mistakes, they would be winning this match. A lot of Effingham's points have come off of hitting errors, passing errors, and of course that was just a serving error from the Bulldogs.
Hearts to serve here, and getting it across is Sarah Dybel. Effingham gets it returned. Doherty sets it up. Utz gets it across. St. Anthony got a hand on it, but I think held it is the call, and the point will go to Effingham.
Well, Mathis did absolutely everything she could, and the fact that she even got a hand on that ball was impressive, but she was called for the lift.
And Effingham back up 2-16-14. You have to play to 25, but you have to win by 2. That's how it works in volleyball. And it's tipped a couple of times by the Bulldogs. They can't get it across, and the ball leads back to 3 for Effingham here, 17-14. So Dybel will continue to serve and whips it across to the middle of the floor. Dammerman sets it up for the Bulldogs, and there's one hammered across. A nice point in the back for St. Anthony as Megan Nuxall came up big there.
Yeah, Nuxall hitting from the outside on that serve receive, was able to drill it home. She is an outside hitter for this Bulldogs ball club, so she was definitely comfortable out there.
17-15. Bulldogs within 2. Effingham gets it in their end of things. Robb sends it across. Bulldogs set it up, and There it is, sent across, but deep. As they tried to get it deep and went a little too deep, Logan Broniker got a little too much of it.
She's a youngster for this Bulldogs ball club with a lot of potential, as you can tell. But that one, she just got a little underneath, and that carried it out long.
So Hearts by 3, 18-15, and Doherty to serve, and they get it up and across.
Wow.
And then she comes up and saves a great return by St. Anthony, but then a great save by Dammerman for the Bulldogs. And St. Anthony gets it across, and Dybel tried to turn and return it and went off her hands out of bounds. Point to St. Anthony.
Well, that was a pretty initial attack by the Bulldogs on the quick set. They drove it down, but able to dig it up was the Hearts. And then St. Anthony stayed with it, and Nuxall was able to send the ball deep. Dybel hesitated for a second, and it really cost him.
So 18-16, Bulldogs back within 2, and they serve, and Doherty has it for Effingham. And now hammered across by Robb. Bulldogs save it. That's Megan Woltman back there for St. Anthony. A battle for it, and they set it up, and there it's across. A little byplay at the net there. Doherty gets it to Utz, and she sends it across. St. Anthony looking to get it set. Mathis gets it to the middle, and the ball's hit across, but Mumm hit it wide, and it's a point to the Hearts.
Something a little different that St. Anthony's doing with Mathis. They are running their setter out of the middle. Most setters are out of the right side of the court, but St. Anthony's using Mathis out of the middle.
That's to serve for Effingham, but she sends it deep. Home run. And St. Anthony back within 2, 19-17, and they'll serve. That's been a dandy of a game.
Great first game.
Man, nobody's led by more than 4 here. Nuxall sends it across for the Bulldogs. Doherty has it for Effingham. They serve it to the middle, and Robb is blocked at the net. Good work as Lauren Schmidt went up there and took care of business for the Bulldogs.
Schmidt was definitely there. I think Robb might have just hit it into the net, but either way, St. Anthony's more than happy to get the point.
Schmidt says it was me, as she says it was my intimidation factor.
That could be.
Hit across by Myers for Effingham. St. Anthony sets it up now, and they have a little trouble, the Hearts do. But Utz gets it across, and it is just good. Nope, they say just wide. Point to St. Anthony, and we're tied at 19.
I was with you. From up here, it looked like that caught the corner of the court. It was a good spot. Well, almost a good spot, I guess.
So we're tied at 19. So Bulldogs have come from 4 down to knot this thing up. Hearts try to return here, and they do, and a heck of an effort by Dammerman. She almost saved it back there, but point to Effingham. As the Hearts hammered it, I think it was Doherty that slammed it back there, and Dammerman did what she could.
Deidre Myers was the one who got it.
Was it?
Yeah, she went down the line, something we haven't seen a lot of tonight.
Robb to serve for Effingham, and she gets it across, and then St. Anthony Mathis, nice job of just dropping it across. Then Effingham gets it just across, and the Bulldogs trying to set it up, and it's into the net as the effort was tried to be returned there by Lauren Schmidt, but she was unsuccessful. Point for Effingham, and they're back up now 21-19. Again, 25 for the win. And now the Hearts serve deep. Robb put a little too much oomph on it. Out of bounds. St. Anthony point. It's 21-20.
That's 3 service errors now for Effingham, and it's probably my fault. I mentioned how they hadn't done that.
Well, at least you've admitted it.
Well, there's a lot that's my fault, I've learned.
Dammerman to serve for St. Anthony, and nice one to the middle, but a good save by Utz. And now a lot of action at the net, and somebody got in it. Point to Effingham.
Yeah, that was a great job by Doherty, I believe it was, of the setter at the net to keep that on Effingham's side, and then went in her haste to thinking that she was going to be able to block it, got herself under the net for the net violation.
Timeout St. Anthony here. 22-20 Effingham in our first game here in this Pink Out for 2012. Battling cancer here by playing a little volleyball at Effingham High School on 97.9 XFM. All right, timeout St. Anthony, because Christy Bailey knows it's pretty close to end the game here if the Bulldogs don't turn it around. Hearts up right now 22-20 in serving.
She figures last time I called timeout, we scored 4 straight. If they do that, they'll be in good shape.
What a plan. Bethany Donaldson to serve for Effingham. Lori Bonoff and Christy Bailey, the 2 coaches, are talking. Lori came over to center court to say something, and now the official comes over. And we're trying to get something set up about who goes where, I guess.
Well, Beals and Dybel are trying to sub in for one another, and after the timeout, that gets a little confusing for everybody, so they're just trying to make sure they've got it straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I only see 5 Effingham Hearts on the court, so something's not right.
And now Lori's going to have to call time, I think.
Now they got to make sure they get their libero on the court was the other thing.
And they do, in the person of Holly White.
So Holly is out there now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Well, now we're to 6.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, there you go.
If this was basketball, that'd be a technical, but we'll go with it.
Okay, now everybody's got enough. Donaldson to serve, and she serves it deep, and St. Anthony cannot return it. Point for Effingham.
Donaldson's the one who gave him trouble last time with a couple of serves. That from here, it doesn't look that wicked. But there's got to be something to that ball to make it difficult. She must be serving a little bit of a knuckleball with that float, and they are just struggling to pass it.
23-20 Effingham, 2 points for a win, and Donaldson serves it into the net, so that'll give a point for the Bulldogs, and it's 23-21.
Well,
close throughout.
Another service there, though. Jump server gets you a point, and she gave one away there.
Totten in for Donaldson for Effingham. Megan Woltman sits down for St. Anthony, and they run Lauren Went back in there. Meanwhile, Mathis to serve here, and she serves it to the middle. Set by Myers. There it's hit across and too deep by Doherty. Point for the Bulldogs, and now it's 23-22.
Yeah.
Again, got to get to 25, but you have to win by 2. Right now it's a 1-point Hearts lead. St. Anthony serving, though. Mathis, deep. Let's sets it up. And now finally sent across, and it's off the hands of St. Anthony, and point to Effingham. Has a nice return there for Effingham, I think, by Doherty.
I think Doherty does get the kill. We only have numbers on the back of the jerseys, and she won't turn around to show us.
24-22, so Effingham serving for the win here. Myers sends it across. Here's a little by-play in the back for Effingham. Now they get it across. St. Anthony goes to the floor to save it. They set it up. They do get it across safely. Now Effingham in trouble, and they finally do get it over. Nuxall for St. Anthony. Now they send it across. The libero for the Hearts gets it. Utz goes to the net, serves it across. St. Anthony returns it. And finally, somebody under the net. Point to Effingham, and Effingham wins it 25-22.
Mathis read the tip that came right into the front center of the court. She came flying from the back row, dug it, but her momentum took her under the net, and there was nothing she could do at that point. But, man, if the Hearts and the Bulldogs are going to play this way throughout the season, there's going to be a lot of wins for Effingham volleyball as a city, for sure.
First game final, Effingham 25, St. Anthony 22. Game 2 on the way shortly. We got the pink out for 2012. High school volleyball between St. Anthony and Effingham as we're doing what we can to raise some money for the battle against cancer. Again, the St. Anthony Women's Wellness Center is the beneficiary this year. More to come in a moment here. Our sponsor tonight, Prime Soul of Effingham on 97.9 XFM. A lot of fun in that one. Never did have either team ahead by more than 4. Effingham had a brief 4-point lead, but St. Anthony came storming right back to get it within 1, and Effingham wins it by 3, 25-22. Earlier tonight, Effingham won the JV match 25-21, 25-10, and Effingham also won the Frosh match in 2 games. So that's how things have shaped up so far. Again, a reminder, our next high school sports broadcast will be Friday night. We'll be at Paxton for Effingham at Paxton Buckley Loda. Yes, I know, we've never been there. I've been by there, but I was usually on my way to Wrigley Field. PBL, the PBL Panthers. That's who we're taking on Friday night. Hearts looking for their first win of the season. Game time 7 o'clock at Paxton. We'll have it for you right here on 97.9 XFM and 97.9XFM.com. And, of course, Wayne will be there with all the video, as well as Dustin and I taking care of the broadcast. And Wayne reminds me to remind you that he and Austin will have the video already in the next day or so of this. So you can check it out online at 97.9XFM.com. And we're going to have DVDs available because I know a lot of people like to take care of that. And the proceeds from the DVD sales, I'm thinking, I just want to double check with Wayne, will also benefit the battle against cancer, we think. So
sounds good to me.
We'll double check on that, but I think that's what we've done in the past. So I guess that'll come out of my salary too, if that's the wrong thing. So anyway,
just a couple of highlights, if you don't mind here, Greg, from that first match. It looked like, and these stats, folks, are very unofficial because it's hard to keep all the stats you need with the game moving this quick. But Deidre Myers had 3 kills for the Hearts. Kelly Utz with an ace. Shannon Doherty with a kill. Stephanie Robb with a kill. And Bethany Donaldson with an ace. For St. Anthony, Lauren Schmidt had a couple of aces and a kill. Haley Mathis with a kill. Lauren Went with 2 kills kills and a stuff block. Megan Nuxall had 2 kills, and Logan Broniker had 2 kills. St. Anthony was an aggressive volleyball team in that first game. They took a lot of swings. It benefited them with a few more kills, but Effingham, all in all, kind of did what Coach Bonoff said. They kind of keep the ball in play, and they took advantage of the mistakes that St. Anthony eventually did make. But I don't want that to sound as bad as it does, because St. Anthony's playing good volleyball. The Hearts are playing good volleyball. This is a very good first night here in Effingham.
Cross country's over. See Effingham's check back in. Soccer's over because Effingham's check back in. It's like the wide world of sports here tonight.
Tell you what, in the fall of the year, there's a lot of things going on.
Today was the busy. I said on the sports show this morning, I thought this was the busiest sports schedule I'd ever seen. It was amazing. I think I read for a minute and a half just who was playing today. So it's going to give you some idea about what to watch for on the website tomorrow. Millie will have all the results for you. And thanks, coaches and ADs, for getting us results. It's such a help. And earlier the better, and we sure appreciate that. We also have some pictures, by the way, now from the JV football game last night on the website, so you can check those out online as well. Ready for action, and Effingham's ready to serve, and Donaldson put it in deep, and so it's 1-0 St. Anthony right out of the gate. I'm sorry, was it Donaldson? I don't want to.
Well,
I think, yeah, Bethany Donaldson.
Looks like it. That's the 5th service error now for Effingham, so that is becoming a little bit of a problem. Ever since the first 10 points of the game, they didn't have any. Now the officials are going to get together and double check and make sure that they've got all the lineups squared away.
I'll give these officials credit, man. They work together, don't they?
And they have for years. Ruth and Brenda have done a great job throughout the years as high school volleyball officials. If you've been coming to volleyball matches in the area, you've seen these 2 ladies, and they are, kind of part of the unsung heroes of volleyball, as all officials are, kind of hope to go unnoticed throughout a match.
So they're saying, okay, we need somebody to move here and do this and do that, and now we're good.
And a lot of times you see this in the first couple of matches throughout the season. The girls are getting used to their rotations, and the officials are a little more lenient earlier in the year than they will be later on.
Mathis to serve for St. Anthony, and boy, she serves a blistering shot across. Custer tried to return it for Effingham, but to no avail, and Bulldogs take a 2-0 lead. Man, that was a fastball.
I tell you what, this Haley Mathis could play volleyball for me any day. She's a great athlete, and it looks like she's a great competitor to go along with it.
Next serve, too deep. Deep and out, and point to Effingham, and it's 2-1.
It was just a little long, only about a foot or two, and you got to credit Effingham for being able to make that decision that quickly.
Effingham to serve here. Myers puts it in for Effingham and serves it deep to Nuxall for St. Anthony, and the Bulldogs set it up, and they get it across, and now Effingham will set up their return. Get it to the middle. Nice work by Dammerman to go to the floor for it, and St. Anthony hits it one too many times.
Yeah,
could not return it.
Hitting error there in the middle. The set might have been a little wide. It was hard to tell from our angle, but either way, Lauren Went couldn't get it over the net.
Point to Effingham, and we're tied at 2, and the next serve is unreturnable. Deidre Myers sent it across for the Hearts, and St. Anthony cannot return it. Now Effingham takes a lead, 3-2.
You notice St. Anthony's really using a 2-man serve receive, and they've done a good job with it, but that time Nuxall just couldn't cover the ground.
Myers' next serve is across. She tried a little over the top there, and St. Anthony returns it, but they return it deep. Broniker had a little too much mustard on it. Now Effingham leads at 4-2.
Yeah, the hitting error just went out of bounds, and again, Broniker's timing a little off.
Myers serves again. This one to the middle. Nice return by Nuxall. Tries to set it up. Now it's sent across, but the Hearts sent it right back. So the Bulldogs pull back and re-rack, and they get it across. Nuxall gets it over for St. Anthony. Hearts return it to the middle. Dammerman's got it so close to the net. She got it on top of the net, and then St. Anthony went up on top, and Haley Mathis got a hand on it, and she was across the net.
Well, she's a back row player, so she can't attack from up there, and as soon as she hit it, the ball went over the net, so that's the back row attack.
She had to set it up.
Yep.
Okay, not get it across. So point to Effingham. It's 5-2, and the Hearts serve, and a lot of action at the net here. St. Anthony gets it across. Broniker does. Effingham now looking to return. It's blocked by Broniker. Nice work at the net. Custer went up for it, and it looked like it was blocked. by Broniker, and the point goes to Effingham.
Yeah, it was blocked by Broniker, but it landed out of bounds after it was blocked. So it was off the block and went out of bounds, so it will be Effingham's ball. That's one of those plays where Broniker does pretty much what she's supposed to do, and it just takes a bad bounce. That happens.
So Effingham's extended the lead 6-2, and it was 2-0 St. Anthony's. That's 6 unanswered for the Hearts, and there's one slam-a-jam at midcourt by St. Anthony, but Effingham does return it, and they return it out of bounds. Point to St. Anthony, and it's 6-3.
And that right there is an example of Effingham's defense, doing what they need to do to get themselves a swing. That time it didn't work out, but it was tremendous defense to even give themselves an opportunity to get a swing at that.
St. Anthony gets it across in the person of Rachel Schultz. And Hearts cannot return it. Point to the Bulldogs, and it's 6-4.
Yeah, net set was a little off the net, and Beals hit it into the net.
Schultz to serve again, to the middle this time. Deep set. They bang it across, and it's out of bounds. So White tried to get the ball in place. Was it No, it's Utz now. Back there is the libero.
Well, they changed shirts.
So she got it out of bounds, and now St. Anthony's back within one at 6-5, and Hearts look to do some defending, and now St. Anthony gets it across, and then under the net is Effingham, and point to the Bulldogs, and they've come back to tie it up 6-6.
Give a lot of credit to Megan Nuxall. She knew she couldn't take a good swing at that ball, but she placed it perfectly across the net, where Effingham, all they could do was hit it under.
Schultz on a roll, serves it for St. Anthony, and that one is hit out. Nope, they say just in. Point to Effingham. Boy, you really got to watch it on the line, and that's why you appreciate how the officials position themselves on the floor. They had a great look at it, and it was just in. Point to Effingham, and the Hearts snapped that streak that St. Anthony had going, and Effingham's back in front 7-6.
So Callie Custer with a couple of kills. Say that real quick.
Good alliteration.
3 times.
Attaboy.
I'll only do it once.
That was quite something. St. Anthony, after the Hearts serve, gets it back across. Now the Hearts looking to set it up. Robb gets it to the middle. Over across. St. Anthony's Dammerman has it. And now Nuxall gets it across. Hearts working in their side of things, and they slam it. And 12 got the best of 12 there as Callie Custer served it right at St. Anthony's Megan Nuxall and off her out of bounds. Point to Effingham.
Last 4 points have been kills by 12. 1 for Nuxall, 3 for Custer.
So 8-6 Hearts. Effingham won the first game 25-22. Hearts serve. St. Anthony gets it across. Nice save down there up front. Custer, and then 2 people said, you take it, and it fell between them, and point for St. Anthony.
That goes down as a passing error for Effingham, but really is a tough thing to take when you make a dig like that, and then your teammates get lost in the shuffle and nothing happens.
8-7 Effingham. St. Anthony to serve, and it's slammed across, and now play by Effingham in the middle. Robb goes up strong for Effingham, and the ball cannot be saved. Mathis did what she could, but Robb had some steam on that one.
Well, Robb's pretty much saying, yeah, you're trying to block. I'm just going to hit it hard, and if you block it, so be it. But I'm going to power it through there, and so far she's done it.
So point Effingham, and it's 9-7 Effingham, and St. Anthony returns the serve. Megan Nuxall to the middle, and a hit it deep. Point for Effingham, and it's 10-7 Hearts.
That was the right idea by Nuxall, and she tried to put the spin on it to drop it into that back line, just missed it by a foot or so.
Doherty serving for Effingham. She gets it to the middle. Up in the air by Mathis, and there's Nuxall going deep, but Effingham saves it, sets it up, and then a block at the net. Nice work in there. Mumm got it for St. Anthony. As Custer went up for Effingham, Mumm says, not here, and she whacked it back across. Point for St. Anthony.
Yeah, her and Broniker had set up the double block there against the left-handed attack that had really caused problems for St. Anthony. That time they stuffed it back at her.
So Maggie Mumm with a point for St. Anthony, and the Bulldogs are within 10-8, and there's the serve, and Effingham gets it across, and action at the net, and maybe in the net.
Took a swing at it, and it hit that antenna, and so that's out of bounds. So that's a hitting error for the Hearts and pulls St. Anthony within 1.
Never been sure what kind of reception that gets, though. St. Anthony serves it across. Hearts play at the net. Good work. Robb got it across, but Nuxall went right up with her and knocked it back home, and St. Anthony's come back to tie it 10-10.
I'm going to give Nuxall a kill on that. It wasn't really a block. She had a little swing on it to nap it down.
And the Bulldogs serve, and little deep back there by Megan Woltman. So point to Effingham, and the Hearts are back in front 11-10.
So brief moment, it was tied.
Effingham to serve here, and they whack it across to the middle. Custer to serve there. St. Anthony sets it up, and a smoking return by Haley Mathis. Wow.
She hit it out, though, just barely out.
Was it out?
Yep.
So point to Effingham, and the Hearts extend the lead to 12-10.
But Effingham couldn't have defended it.
No. They'd have had a hole in them. And now Effingham serves it across, and St. Anthony was moving on defense, and they left a hole open, and the ball hits the floor, and it's 13-10 Effingham. So a point to the Hearts.
Woltman setting from the back row, and she vacated the area, and Nuxall couldn't make that pass.
Deep serve. Dammerman sets it up for St. Anthony. They get it across. Hearts work at the net here. They whack it into the middle. St. Anthony gets it set up, and there's one across by Nuxall, and it's good. Nice work by Megan Nuxall. She pretty much rolled it on past Callie Custer. Point for St. Anthony.
Good news for St. Anthony is Nuxall has 3 kills already in this game alone, but she's now in the back row serving.
She's back to serve. Bulldogs within 2 here, 13-11. Served in the middle of the floor. Effingham sets it up. Robb sends it across, and it's touched by St. Anthony, and that's a point for the Hearts.
So Robb gets another kill. That one would have been close. I can't fault Woltman at all for trying. It's one of those where if you're not sure, you got to go for it, and she went for it and just couldn't get there.
It's a point to Effingham, and it's 14-11 Effingham. Served by Robb for Effingham. St. Anthony returns it, but Effingham goes up strong at the net. Back on Effingham's side. There's Myers getting it across, and it is good. Point to Effingham. And Effingham extends the lead to 15-11.
Myers has used that line hitting from the outside position a couple of times now, and in high school volleyball, if you can consistently hit it down the line, you really cause problems for the defense.
Robb serves again for Effingham. St. Anthony return, and Mathis just lobs it across, and the Hearts can't do anything with it. Point to St. Anthony.
Well, it was a quick set for Mathis, and they were a little out of sync, but Mathis, so athletic, able to at least tip it across and put it in a good spot. And now St. Anthony's going to need a lineup check as they're a little out of sync, and I could tell that much because Nuxall went back to serve again, and she just got done serving, so that wasn't going to work.
Can't do that. So Dammerman's going to serve the libero with the cool shades.
Yes.
Cassie Dammerman says, here it comes, boys, girls. And Effingham gets it set up to return, and at the net, it's hammered across, but St. Anthony saves it. Dammerman back there works hard, and it's back on the Effingham side. Myers has it. Myers across the net. Saved by Woltman for St. Anthony, and then they tip it across. Good work by Mathis. That was her hook shot.
Yeah, she is such an athletic player, and she's so versatile. She's setting out of the front row, but then all of a sudden, when she's in the front row, she can jump up and attack so easily, and Effingham was just left watching that beautiful play.
15-13 on the point for St. Anthony. Dammerman to serve. Effingham returns the serve. Nuxall tried to, and St. Anthony has too many kids hit it. Point Effingham, and the Hearts are back up 3, 16-13.
Well, it started with a good swing there for Myers and really put St. Anthony in the scramble mode, and they just couldn't get it back across.
By the way, some St. Anthony students have now moved over to the other side, and now we have a modified dog pound here at Effingham High School. Tip saved by Effingham. Point to the Hearts, and it's 17-13. Who was it that went up strong?
Beals took advantage of the overpass. She was in the middle of the court. The middle blocker saw the overpass. Her eyes lit up, and she drilled it straight down. But that can be tough because sometimes you get too aggressive and get yourself in the net, especially for a young player like Beals.
17-13 Effingham, and the Hearts to serve, and Donaldson, I think, that is back there to serve, and it's cross, and we've got a whistle. Somebody got in the net. Point to Effingham.
Point to St. Anthony.
Point to St. Anthony.
Yeah.
Somebody for the Hearts got in the net.
Beals was up there for the block along with another teammate. I think it might have been Doherty. Either way, one of the two got into the net, and St. Anthony will try to take advantage of the break.
Woltman down for St. Anthony. Logan Broniker checks back in. 17-14 Effingham. Effingham won the first game 25-22. St. Anthony serves it well, but deep. Mathis didn't miss anything and ended up on the out-of-bounds line. The end line here at EHS.
Yeah, the wrong out-of-bounds line.
So 18-14 Effingham, and the Hearts to serve, and Myers curls it across. St. Anthony sets it up, and across now. Broniker got it for St. Anthony. Myers returns it for Effingham over the net. Mathis to a teammate, and St. Anthony sends it to the Effingham side. Now the Hearts return it. Mathis back deep for it. Broniker sets it up, and it's hammered one-handed, but a nice shot at the line, at the net, and it's into St. Anthony's side, and it falls as a point for the Hearts, and it's 19-14 Effingham, and St. Anthony wants time. That's quite a rally.
Yeah.
19-14 Effingham. Timeout on the floor. It's the pink out for 2012. Battling Cancer by playing some volleyball here at EHS on 97.9 XFM. You have a great vacation, kid, just in case you're listening. Whitney, the voice of Prime Soul. I'm just saying. 19-14 Effingham. Again, the first game went to Effingham 25-22, so the Bulldogs call a timeout there. Christy Bailey's trying to stop the bleeding here and get the ship. I'm using all my cliches here.
Well, and you're going to have to get them in because it's going to be over soon unless the Bulldogs make a good rally here, which they're more than capable of doing, you would think.
They just got it across there, and the person of Lauren went, and there's one returned out of bounds, point to the Bulldogs. So they're back within 19-15. Schultz back in for St. Anthony as they give Lauren Schmidt a breather.
Yeah, Schultz has been subbing in to play the back row for Schmidt. That's been pretty consistent. And Broniker and Woltman sub in for one another for the Bulldogs. Front row, back row. Sorry, Greg.
No, Bulldogs get the ball across on the serve. Mathis tried to save it to a teammate, and instead it went Effingham, and it's going to be St. Anthony point. Beals got in the net.
Yeah, Beals or Doherty again. Both of them were up there, and we'll never know which one they called for sure.
So point St. Anthony, and it's 19-16, and they get it across again, and St. Anthony another point as they go up strong, and Megan Nuxall says, I'll have that one. 19-17, another good timeout by Christy Bailey. That's three straight for the Bulldogs, and they're back within two. Another serve, and that one's in the net. So that'll be a point for Effingham, and it's 20-17. And the Hearts are saying, let's try and serve this out.
Yeah, fourth service there of this game alone for St. Anthony.
Elliott's back to serve for Effingham, and she whacks it to the middle. Dammerman to her knees to set it up for the Bulldogs. Nuxall gets it across for St. Anthony. Now Effingham trying to set it up, and they get it across in the person of Myers. Now a high hook by Robb, and boy, she says that's going down. Woo. Nice shot by Stephanie Robb. Point for Effingham, and it's 21-17.
The middles, Robb and Beals, have now taken advantage of about 3 or 4 overpasses from the Bulldogs, and they are just hammering it back at them.
So 21-17 Effingham. It serves again to the middle, and they get it across, and boy, action at the net again. Doherty touched it. St. Anthony touched it. Point Effingham.
Yeah, Robb took the big swing. That time St. Anthony at least got up there to try to block that, but they did block it across, but it went out of bounds. So another kill for Robb.
So 22-17. The serve is across. St. Anthony Nuxall right to the middle. Nice shot. Bulldogs stop that skid, and they're back within 22-18, and they're back to serve now. That'll be Lauren Wendt getting ready to serve here at the Bulldogs.
Boy, Nuxall, the young sophomore, is coming up big in this second game.
Wendt to serve to the middle. Effingham gets it set up, and now Robb sends it across. It is saved deep there by Nuxall to Mathis, and there's Nuxall across. Myers saves it for Effingham and sets it up. Doherty across, and no return, and point to Effingham.
Boy, Doherty drove that one right down the line, and she did put that one in a spot where nobody could get it.
23-18 Effingham. Doherty to serve. Hearts 2 points away from the win. Served in the middle. Set up by St. Anthony. Mathis gives it to Nuxall. Across and a point for the Bulldogs. Nuxall says, I'm not going anywhere. And it's 23-19.
Boy, she has been impressive in this second game. She is just continuing to hammer away at Effingham.
So 23-19. Woltman back to serve for the Bulldogs and does to the middle. Let's digs it out, and it goes to nobody, and they did not get it across. Somebody didn't go where they were supposed to go, I think, for Effingham there.
They got a little confused, you're right, and that set drew the outside hitter way too close to the middle. She couldn't get there to get any sort of swing on it at all.
So point St. Anthony. It's 23-20. Woltman's serve across. Dammerman sets it up, and now Mathis, and then across by Mumm to Effingham, and they cannot return it. Another point for the Bulldogs, and it's 23-21, and Effingham wants time.
Got to give credit to the Bulldogs. It looked like this could be over any second, but they fought back once again.
Timeout Effingham. See how this one wraps up. 23-21 Effingham. It's the Pink Out for 2012 here on 97.9 XFM. Won the first game here at the Pink Out for 2012, 25-22. Right now, Effingham in front, 23-21 in the second game. It's been a lot of fun. Woltman to serve for St. Anthony. Effingham returns it out of bounds. Point to the Bulldogs, and it's 23-22.
They set up Rob nicely for a swing from the right side. She got what she wanted. She just missed it out.
Woltman back to serve again. Megan serve, left-hander, gets it across. So that's set up for Effingham, and Doherty gets it across for the Hearts, and now Nuxall back over for St. Anthony to the Effingham side. Rob smokes it, and it is in or out. Did anybody touch it? Oh, they're going to say do it again?
Yeah, it's going to be a redo. The down official couldn't see it. The up official couldn't see it. That's a tough break. I personally thought it was out, but when the officials can't see it because of the players on the court, it's what they got to do.
And then Woltman serves it into the net. Point for Effingham, and now they're a point away from a win. Boy, that's tough.
Yeah.
Boy, Rob sent a missile, but I can see why you thought it was out. Okay, Effingham.
It was close.
Effingham serving for the win here. Put up by Custer to the middle. Nuxall saves it. They set it up. There's the smoke. It's returned back to Effingham, and the Hearts get the win.
Boy, what a stuff block as Mathis went up and took a big swing at it, and Effingham got the block. Who was that over there, number 10?
Bethany Donaldson.
Donaldson, yeah.
So, identical scores. 25-22, 25-22. Effingham wins the Pink Out for 2012. Well, this was fun.
This is great volleyball. And like I said earlier, there is a lot of good volleyball going to be played on the north side as well as here at Effingham High School. These two teams were very impressive in an opener. And if you've got them on your schedule, you better be ready to play. That's all I know.
So 25-22, 25-22, Effingham defeats St. Anthony in the Pink Out for 2012. Real winner, of course, the battle against cancer. Post-game show on the way here in a minute. Brought to you by our sponsor tonight, Prime Soul of Effingham on 97.9 XFM. One off the Hearts coach comes up for a post-game visit. Boy, congratulations. I tell you what, plenty of excitement there tonight.
Yeah, we played really well. I'll give our kids some credit. We did a nice job hustling, working hard, keeping points alive, and then had some big plays.
Yeah, you had individual effort, but you also did a good job of working as a team, and early in the season, you like to see that.
Oh, yeah, I thought we did a real nice job. I don't remember letting too many balls just hit or anything like that. Seemed like we played well in that respect.
It's always a spirited event when these two teams get together. I mean, they know each other, and it's the same town and all that, so that adds to the excitement.
Oh, absolutely. And, we knew coming in, Haley was one kind of, she's a great player, and we had prepared a little bit for her to play right side in the front row. Then she played middle there, and so we ended up in the second game. I changed to a lineup we hadn't hardly practiced, just so I'd have two big girls in the middle blocking against her and set that up that way. And I thought my kids did a nice job adjusting that. We had done it a little bit in practice, but not as much as I probably would have liked to.
You talk about individuals, I always will leave somebody out, but I tell you, Stephanie Robb was putting a whooping on the ball tonight.
Yeah, you know what? She's our go-to player in the front row. She's capable of a whole lot. We really want her to come around all year and be a consistent hitter for us. Yeah, she was up against Haley quite a bit of the time, and so sometimes we wouldn't even set her right through the middle just because their big block was there. But when we get her on the right side or on the outside, we set her and she put the ball away. Yeah, I thought she did a fantastic job, and I thought our setters did a nice job of being smart where to put the ball and not letting Haley block us all night because she's capable. Actually, the thing that she also did, we completely changed we didn't change our game plan so much, but we just even stopped hitting to that side of the court because she's such a good defensive player in the back row. We started just trying to hit on the other side of the court. So that was kind of fun coaching wise, as far as just trying to strategize and still get the kids to do what you want, and it was a fun game. We played well. Our kids did a great job. Definitely one of the better games, as well as I expect, or maybe better than I expected us to play.
Yeah, we talked that I couldn't recall that it was ever more than 4 points either way, either of the games.
Right. At the beginning, it was 2-1, and we had just hit like 4 times and had real nice successful hits, and I'm like, and we're losing 2-1. This isn't good. I was glad that we had been playing well, but I was like, whoa, we're just getting beat here at the beginning, and we couldn't do any better than that. So, and the whole game was a little bit like that. I thought we got a lead a little bit and held the lead, didn't let them get a point ahead of us, after 15 or whatever, after 12. And that kind of gives you confidence. You're not playing from behind.
Yeah, makes you feel good. You had a lot of kids. Effingham seemed to have a lot of kids in that senior class last year that were athletes, and you lost a lot of kids just like a lot of the sports teams did at Effingham. But you've got a great nucleus coming back here, and it appears that they're already melding.
Yeah, our seniors are just real good athletes as far as knowing how to play volleyball. I mean, Deidre Myers and Kelly Utz and Shannon and all the seniors, they're real good at knowing how to play and being smart. And then our young kids are actually a little bit bigger. Stephanie, Rob, and Brittany give a little height to us, and so those kids are almost just trying to, put those younger kids in a good position, and the older kids really just meld the team together well.
We talked a lot with other coaches about the revamped Apollo, and it certainly has an impact on volleyball too. How so, as much as you had a chance to sort it out?
Well, we got to pick up a few other non-conference games because we lost a couple, and so that'll affect our schedule. And then just as far as the season, Matt Toon's they're going to be great this year, and so we'll have everything we can handle in both of those games. We'll come out of that. I'll be, wanting a split there, so we still got a shot for the championship. I wouldn't, I won't even need to be greedy and get both, but get a split with them. And then I know Charleston and Mount Zion, they're going to come out and be pretty sharp this year. They've got some good young kids at both of those programs, so I definitely see it as kind of a little bit more competitive as far as the top teams are, at least.
Sounds like a great way to spend a couple of nights a week.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is.
Very good. Lori, thanks so much. Congratulations on the win.
All right, thank you very much.
You bet. Arts coach Lori Bonoff, appreciate her. Coming up to visit with us here on the post game. Again, Effingham a winner 25-22, 25-22. And Christy Bailey, nice enough to stay with us, stay here and visit with us here for St. Anthony's part. So we'll let Coach Bailey get saddled up here, and we'll visit with her. Christy, I tell you, it was anybody's match tonight.
It was interesting.
Yeah, Lori didn't disagree that I don't remember more than 4 points either way.
Yeah, we did a really good job of getting behind and trying to get back.
Yeah, you staged a number of comebacks. Good timeouts, we said. We agreed, good timeouts, because you went on rallies, I think, every time after you called a timeout.
Yep, that's the one thing we're working on this year is not what we call rolling over and playing dead. That even though we're behind by a few, we're not giving up. We can come back at any time.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix you've got. Of course, everybody knows Haley Mathis, but you've got a lot of good kids.
We do, and they're new to the varsity program. We're big this year still, which is good. After losing 4 seniors, we still have some height, which helps us in the front row, which is good.
Yeah, and pretty athletic kids too, not just tall.
Yeah, definitely. My key is to always not miss the seniors that we lost, and this year I think that we're doing a good job of replacing them.
Yeah, I know that it's a season where, and we talk about Effingham and the changes that the Apollo changes in the national trail too, and how's that going to impact you think?
We still will play T-Town, but we have a new team, South Central, so nobody knows anything about them, so it'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Who are you the favorite?
I don't know if we're the favorite. I know Windsor will be strong. St. Elmo will be really strong. South Central has a huge reputation from where they come from. So NTC is kind of up for grabs.
It's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a fun match tonight, and certainly congratulations on raising the money that will help battle cancer.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thanks, Christy.
Bye.
Christy Bailey, the Bulldogs coach, we appreciate her coming up and visiting with us. Again, the big winner is, though, the battle against cancer. We appreciate the coaches, Lori Bonoff for Effingham and Christy Bailey from St. Anthony, for spending some time with us here on the postgame show.